How you doing?
I'm good, yeah.
I know.
Are we talking into this now?
Yeah, we can look into that. That kind of looks cool because we can see as I look at you and you look at me. It's a weird kind
Is that
of...
because people at home will think we're, connecting with them? Something like that?
Yeah. And I don't like the podcast. Everybody's doing podcasts. And I was working with people about a year ago and then I tried to get in touch with Stuart Lee and he just said, I'm tired of doing podcasts. And then it just totally made me not want to do it.
You wanted to see if Stuart would do an episode of your podcast?
Yeah, but I mean...
No, podcasts they're all over the camp. I have had I've had requests from people okay, everybody listens to this, right? Famous people are supposed to do podcasts, all right? That's who does podcasts, right? It's a showbiz thing. But no, I'm about to get requests from Anto from the Flats, Deco Healy, Mary from Longford. So podcast is no longer a thing anymore, is it?
Yep, and I guess it's the easiest way to create content. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but this way's better. Is this a new pod? What we call this though? Pod of you.
My issue with, and I've said this a few times, is that I'm not a good interviewer, and it's not natural for me to do this. Well, but I want to become a good interviewer. But the problem is, even in social situations, I'll be talking to you, but I really just want to hear what I want to say. Yeah. And then you'll be answering me with something that's a great deal more interesting than what I want to say, and I'll be interrupting you. It's awful.
Well, when I was doing I did the Graham Norton show, right?
Okay.
Did you get that?
When did you? when did you do that?
Well, Well, do you know what I want to do? Actually, you could be good with this, which I'll do another day. Is I want someone to interview me about my whole career, all the different things, so that I'll be able to remember them. But I've had loads of car crashes, which are hilarious.
Car crashes?
As in, the Graham Norton show was a total car crash.
When did you do it?
Oh, it's years ago.
Okay.
About 2015, 14. But people never knew it was a car crash because they just, once they see you on there, they go, oh wow, see the Graham Norton show. Yeah. They have no idea what I said though, which was nothing.
Well, it seems that Joanne McNally went on the fucking Jonathan Ross.
Yeah.
And I don't know, was that the reason? But she really skyrocketed. So it does seem, in terms of, she's selling loads of venues.
Well, right place, right time for Joanne there with that one.
Well, but what I'm saying is, it does seem that if we as Irish people can get recognised and established in the UK, then the Irish audience, you're a perfect example.
She'd be getting British people, not Irish people.
Well, she sold out in Vicar Street 10 nights in a row.
Yeah.
How do you mean she's getting?
No, when she does her British gigs, she won't have Irish people at them. She'll have British people at them.
Yeah,
that's how it works. But when I did,
and it's great for her. But there's nothing in it for me.
No, you see, Dave, is that you trying to be her?
But by the way,
it's exhausting when you see, because
you don't seem to be the jealous type, Jason.
No, because it's exhausting.
But you've never been. Sorry, Jason.
No, it's okay. See, Dave's doing that thing now.
Go on.
He's not listening.
I know.
But he is listening. He's listening, but he's trying. Yeah,
trying my best.
No, I remember a comic coming up to me. We won't name him, and he said to me,
"Des Bishop."
No.
And
and he said to me, right, when you were this age, you did really well in Edinburgh. Okay, and then when you were this age, you sold out those Vicar Street. Oh, and then you got on the Royal Variety Show. And he was literally doing my career to his age. So when he got to these different ages of my life, he thought he would just be in these slots.
Right.
Which is insane to try and do that. So what you do with Joanne is you look at Joanne and you go, oh my God, fair play to her, brilliant. I mean, I've already been all down there. I've done shows in the West End, did all that stuff. And then it's just, it's Joanne's go now.
Listen, I've never genuinely met anyone. I've met a few people as hardworking and determined to get to where she wanted to go.
Yeah.
So fair fucks to her.
She's funny though.
She is very funny.
It's like how people always go, oh, it's because she's a woman. I go, no, she's funny.
She's funny, yeah.
She did a gig with us in the arena for John Bishop, the Sean Cox thing. And she was class at that. But the one thing I did, one of my car crashes, which was the Graham Norton thing, I went on and, you see, that's where a show like that can really be helpful to a comic. But he met me backstage, Graham did, with Gwyneth Paltrow, and me standing there with Jeffrey Rush, right? And he goes, Lady Gaga's on tonight. He goes, listen, Jason, I know you're the comic, but it'd be really good if you didn't slag her or didn't do that thing where you butt in all the time. But that's the comic's job. And I went, oh my God, Graham, this is my first time on here. And he goes, please, because she just shut down and shut up. So I literally wasn't able to say anything.
Right.
And so when I was talking, which was really weird, and I don't know if Graham does it every guest, it was kind of, because what happens to me, I'm a bit like you, a bit like a comic, is that when I'm somewhere, I'm elsewhere, right? Mm-hmm. So when I was on the Graham Norton show, I was just watching the Graham Norton show, but I was on the couch. So I was sitting there going, holy shit, there's Lady Gaga.
Right.
Oh my God, there's Jeffrey Rush. But I was there with them, but I wasn't.
Yeah.
And I watched Graham, when Graham asked me a question, like and it was just, I made a bollocks of it. It was just a silly story that wasn't funny enough.
I'm going to show you the clip that Jason is talking about. He did very well on the I was going to say the Jason Byrne show. He did very well on the Graham Norton show. I think for most comedians, they would have thought they did really well. But I think maybe Jason is kind of used to these really fucking explosive laughs that he gets in his fucking live shows. And also on the show, he literally was only given a few minutes because fucking Lady Gaga basically took over the whole show. And good luck trying to do fucking jokes with Lady Gaga, because there was a moment when in the show when Graham Norton was really heaping praise on Lady Gaga.
So, the last single, Born This Way, #1 in 17 countries, 69 million singles sold, 23 million albums, just the one album, 23 million of them sold. Highest grossing tour ever for a debut album, 1 billion views on YouTube, the most downloaded artist in history, and according to Time magazine...
She had this look on her face that I've only seen a few times in my life on human faces. And one was in a film called Apocalypto, where there was an Inca who was being treated like a god. And that's how Lady Gaga was looking. I mean, that level of, I don't know, self-belief or fucking delusion.
Most powerful person in the world. You're 25!
It was nice to see that Jeffrey Rush acknowledged how brilliant Jason is, because it was revealed in the show that he went to one of Jason's shows in Australia.
It's just my shows have just turned out to be events, you know? They're not, it's not just stand-up. The stuff that happens has just gone nuts.
He's crazy. I just thought, you know, he's a throwback to the golden age of vaudeville. He's a genius like Tommy Cooper.
First of all, just let me preface this. I first saw Jason Byrne sitting in 1996, and I was just starting off in comedy. And I saw, you know, I was late and live, and I saw all these comedians come on. And then Jason came on. And, well, I remember, now, this is 96, so I remember, and I think it was 96 or 97 or something. Yeah. And you were using the monitors at the front of the stage, and you were pretending they were like a ski slope, and you were jumping on them. So, like, it was, and it was all this physical comedy stuff. So it was the difference between all these guys going, you know, and then Jason came on, and it was like, I don't know, a fucking explosion. And that sort of laugh out loud, crying type of laughter that a lot of comedians don't get. But it did fucking blow me away. And as a result of all those type of really great performances, you're the biggest selling act in Edinburgh. And I don't know if a lot of people know that or give a shit about it. But I mean, Edinburgh is the biggest comedy festival in the world. So it's such a fucking achievement. It's unbelievable. So there you go. Yeah, no, it is, and I've done so much other cool shit. Yeah. But but then I'm just so critical of myself, because you know, if you fuck up one thing, you think, oh. But then again, someone said, well, first of all, can I say Jeffrey Rush, who's the nicest man in the fucking world, right? It probably didn't suit my comedy to do something like that. Do you know what I mean? Because at that time I was very physical and I needed to be up and moving. But what is fucking amazing is that people don't understand that if you get comedy wrong, people will really dislike you. Or so, and I mean, I'm talking about when you're doing it on stage in a club, and if you don't get it right and if you fuck up, I've found that people they don't dislike you. They're uncomfortable for you. No. I think there's a spectrum in comedy, and say David O'Doherty is there, so you're there, and I'm over there or something. And the people who like David O'Doherty kind of hate me. Or something. No, I wouldn't use the word hate. No, can I just say, hang on. They're going to a comedy club, and especially in Britain, I've seen them watch all ranges of comics in one night. And they just like this one better than the other one's more their style. And you see them all arguing with each other at the end because they like the other fella better than the other fella, because they all got different tastes. Do you know what I mean? They're never going to hate you, Dave. They do. Well, I think it depends what you've said to them. I think. Dave, yeah. I think people don't. Should I call them cunts? Fair enough. But I think that people don't understand how dangerous it is to get it wrong. That's all I'm saying. Maybe hate is a strong word, but I mean, people think it's odd. You know, a lot of actors, I think comedy is just a piece of piss, but they don't realize. Like, I don't know how hard you work on the stuff that you do, but certainly sometimes if I'm doing a post or a story or something, I'll do like, 20, 30, 40 takes just trying to get it right.
Well, I'm doing my own little sketches now that I've been doing. That does take fucking ages. Because I have to keep doing them, tripping them up and getting them right. But I remember my promoter, Ed Smith in Edinburgh, and he said, why don't you put your set list up on the back of the wall or something? Will you just let them know that you actually do write all these shows? And I went, yeah, I do. I says, but I don't think they know. I think that you come on, you just make it up. Yeah. And there's obviously bits that I am making up when I'm talking to someone or whatever, but the rest of it's very structured. So I did a show, which was one of my favourite shows, which was You Name the Show. I let people in the audience have whiteboards and they name the show, but I had a big wheel with my set list on it. So I used to spin it. And I spun it, and it was the best entrance I ever had, by the way. It was, the Wrecking Ball, Miley Cyrus.
Yeah.
I was one of the first heads to do that.
Right.
But I came out from the back over the Edinburgh audience towards them, right?
Amazing.
And I'd get off, and I'd get an audience member to come up and spin the wheel.
Yeah.
And it would say finale, start, women, anything, right?
Yeah.
So they spun it. I did it said entrance as well. In one show in Edinburgh in an hour, I did the entrance 6 times. I landed on entrance.
Oh, brilliant.
I had to stick to the rules. And they fucking loved it. Because they could just see it going to entrance for the 6th time gone. So I had to get up on a ladder, onto the ball again, get out of those clothes, back into the clothes. And then I had to do the finale. That's
so in the moment. That's the high point or perfection of comedy.
It's organised chaos, is what it is.
Yeah, and also that's when people. It's a compliment when people think you're just it's off the cuff because you're making it because you're so at ease in the moment.
Well, just so I don't forget, but that's what comedy is. Because people, when it looks hard, that's normally a new comic who are kind of, and people are going, oh geez. But when something looks seamless, then you're really good at it.
I see some comedians and they get an out laugh. And they're delighted with themselves, and then they just cruise for the. But you're like desperate for giant laughs or something, are you? Will you do anything or not?
I remember an old girlfriend of mine and her dad saying to me, "You're a worker bee. You'll always be a worker bee."
Yeah. And
I went, "What's that mean?" He goes, "You'll always, whatever you do, you'll always work as hard as you can at it." And that's just my energy. And so when I go on the stage, and again, I'm not on the stage. That's me, and then I'm off looking at myself. I'm not even, enjoying the moment. And I do a show that hard because I think that's what I'd want to be seeing.
Okay.
So I'd be going, I paid money into this, it better be good. And I want people to know I made a huge effort where, along the years I've learned that there's no need to make such a massive effort. So I've actually slowed down physically about 50%, I'd say. I used to do this really walking around mad, and you know what, sometimes you have to look back at yourself when you're making DVDs and it's just horrendous because when you hear yourself you're just like, even when we look back in this, we'll think we're a pair of fucks. No talking, and even when I'm talking I go, what are you talking about, like, and I mean and what Gaga gives us done, you just fucked it up. But I remember being in a dressing room with Sean Hughes. Remember Sean?
Sean, yeah. Sean, who died when
5 years ago, maybe.
Alcoholism, was it?
Yeah. Oh, and at Sean Hughes' funeral, we were there, and Sean Hughes' brother got up and said there was loads of people there, like everybody. It was like a crematorium all outside and everything. And he said, I assume most people here have had an argument with Sean. Because if you happen
did he get quite curmudgeonly coming up to the end or something?
He always was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he loved an old row.
Okay.
But he was a great fella, though.
Okay.
So he said to me, I was prancing up and down the dressing room. I don't know where I was with him. Might have been Brighton or something, doing a festival. And anyway, prancing up and down. And Sean's watching me with a fag in his hand. And he's going, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? And he goes, sit down. And he says to me, how long are you doing stand-up? And I said, I don't know, this was probably 15 years or something. And he goes, okay, how many times have you died in your arse? And I says, I don't know, when I started out, probably 5 proper deaths. And he went, right. And you've done hundreds of shows and they were a success. I went, yeah. And he goes, right, well then you're good at comedy. Now sit down and shut the fuck up. Right, so I stopped prancing up and down dressing rooms since that day.
Okay.
I just went, I think that getting myself up into a frenzy would help. And it doesn't help. And that's most things in life.
And
you
also,
get yourself into a frenzy, you can't think straight.
Well, also, Jason, sorry, I'm just... you don't mind me smoking that, do you?
No, I wouldn't want you to smoke fags. I used to sit in the shed at my dad as he blew cigarettes out. Did your dad have a good work ethic? Or does your dad? Or? No, he's dead. He's trying to work that out. Is your dad? Is he dead? Is he dead? Is your dad? Is he dead? Is he dead? Yes, he is. Is he dead? Is he dead? So no.
What?
My dad's life. That's why I used to go, what are we all fucking doing? My dad sat in a shed with fags and whiskey. He retired at 55 because he worked for Guinness's. And basically, as my dad said, there were 7 fellas around one button. They didn't need them anymore.
Okay.
And I thought my dad retired, because he used to make barrels, like Cooper, I thought he'd go and teach people how to make barrels. And I used to ask him all sorts of things. Like, what are you going to do? Like, play golf, right? And he goes, nope. What are you going to do? He goes, nothing. He did nothing. He just sat in the shed, met his mates up in the pub, and went for his medication in James's Street. And that's what he did. But his heart, I used to say, I think his heart used to beat twice a year. He was that laid back.
Jesus.
But there was none of this manic shit with my dad.
But did he not feel the need to just give himself even an illusion of a purpose or something to?
That's what is so weird.
But he was loving it.
Loving it.
Okay. Well,
like it was his life. Yeah, he loved it, and he didn't understand why people got so stressed and all. And what he used to do, this is a good trick.
So where did you get that work ethic from? That like really.
My mother had more of that in her because she was a professional ballroom dancer.
Okay.
So she went to London.
Is that right? Okay, well that makes sense with you and your showing yourself and just your physicality. Yeah. You're very...
Could be. Well, I have had people say it looks like I'm dancing sometimes I'm up there talking, or clownish. So Mam was a ballroom dancer and she moved to London and studied there in Soho.
Okay.
I was a dancer there. Then she met me dad when she came home on her breaks at Dublin. And my dad didn't like dancing.
No,
not into dancing. And but he worked for Guinness's, and in those days that was like winning the lotto. If you married a fella from Guinness's, because your mortgage was sorted, your medication for life. My ma still gets it for free, all dental, everything.
Guinness.
Except she ended up marrying a bit of a what? Like, a lot. My mum was dancing in Blackpool and everything, and she comes home to a fella and goes, I don't like dancing.
Jason, you I'm kind of riddled with every human defect. I'm full of jealousy and I'm full of this, and not as bad as I used to be. I'm wiser, a little bit wiser. But you're not that type of guy in the comedy world. You don't seem to fucking get involved in falling out with people and cliques and hanging out with those people and thinking that. I mean, you seem to be a bit more emotionally intelligent, or into or something. Or
I used to just.
Is it just because you work so hard and you got your own thing going and you don't buy into all they're cunts and that type of comedy isn't good for
Well, one thing I used to say to new comics was, you're not gigging for other comics, you're gigging for the audience. So don't gig for other comics.
What does that mean?
Well, often you go into the Comedy Store in London and the lads would be like, oh, you're going to do this, I'm going to do that. And they'd be like trying to...
impress each other.
Well, it's not even impress each other. You've got to be very careful with them. They're almost trying to throw you. Do you know what I mean? So, like, you'd go out and obviously when you go out in the Comedy Store and you do a gig, nobody in the dressing room listens to you. They pretend they do. And then you come back in and go, oh, great gig, man, but no one's listening. But I never really got into any gang because I was always moving back and forth to Dublin every time I was gigging in London. And as a comic, you do move around on your own, even though you end up in a club with a few comics, but you're doing your 20 and leaving to the next. You could do up to 3 or 4 gigs a night when I was in London.
Well, Jason, when I first saw you, I was so enamored, so blown away by these comedians like John Hegley and fucking Simon Munry, yourself, Tommy Tiernan. But I was so, I felt so less than you guys, clearly, because I hadn't done any fucking work, hadn't done it. But I wanted to hang out with you guys, but I didn't have the confidence, so I'd fucking
Was this 96?
97, and I'd fucking get drunk and turn into a fucking idiot and asshole, and ruin any potential of friendship with all these people. So did you were you not blown away? Were you not a big fan of certain comedians and you wanted to hang out like a fucking Egypt? But
no.
Or you see... So,
I always had a lot of confidence, even as a kid. So I was never jealous of other children or anything, and I just thought I was fantastic. But I wasn't like going, "Oh, I'm fantastic."
You were just quietly.
I was happy in my own skin, like, you know what I mean? I didn't want to be like anybody else. I don't need to be like anybody else, and like.
I think the first TV appearance that illustrates that was it with Bill Murray, and you were sitting in the audience?
Yeah.
Was that the first time you did that?
I was never on telly in my life. Like, that was it.
And so you were playing this kind of.
What happened was we got tickets to Kilkenny.
Who did?
Me and PJ and all a few of us, we got tickets, and I think I might have been playing Kilkenny the first time that year,
right?
Which is about 97,
right.
97, I don't know. And Bill Murray was playing the thing.
That's right.
And they said, if anybody wants to go to the Late Late Show, we have a couple of tickets, we're going to go and see Bill Murray. And I went, well, can I go? Well, yeah. So I got me dad's tie, and I went in on my own to the Late Late Show. I didn't even know where the studios were. I mean, I'd never gone in. So I went in, and the man goes, yeah. So I kind of played this character with the glasses and all. I stayed like that. And it was in there's a holding bit where they hold the audience having wine. And I'm on my own. I don't know what I'm doing.
You got some fucking balls.
So in I go. Do you know what it is? I love a challenge. I think that's what it is. So in I go, and I'm sitting in the audience, and Gabe Byrne came out, and he said at the break, before Bill Murray came out, he goes, now if anybody here has any questions, just put your hand up but keep it up and I'll get to you.
Yeah.
So there was two Elwood sitting beside me. They're probably dead now.
Yeah.
But you'll see them in the footage as well, looking at me like terrified.
Yeah.
Gaber went, ladies and gentlemen, Bill Murray, and I just went like this. And I'm like this for ages. And if there's longer footage anywhere, if anybody has it, you'll see Gaber trying to interview Bill Murray, and he's constantly
just looking up.
And I'm going like this.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, eventually he goes, oh, right, question from the man at the back there. I says, yes, Bill, I love Ghostbusters and all that stuff. And Bill's going, yeah. And I went, and anyway, so I'm into like possessed humans and animals and stuff. I said something along those lines.
Yeah.
I said, anyway, we didn't have much luck with possessed humans. So we went to kind of mad cows and stuff. I said that kind of silly stuff.
But I remember him being very tickled by it anyway.
No, he was kind of watching him, but Gabe didn't know if he set him up, and he wasn't sure if Gates. So they're all wondering who set who up. And then I said, anyway, because the motto of Ghostbusters catchphrase is, we ain't afraid of no ghosts. They're not that, meow, meow. So I said to Bill Murray, that's why it's one of my biggest claim to fame, I said, Bill, have you ever seen a ghost and were you frightened? Right? And he just went, well, and he's trying to think of something. And then he just goes, yeah, well, we were in Rowley's Bistro and the waitress took our order and then she disappeared like that. Right. And of course, the Late Late Show audience were like fucking loving it and looking at me going, now. Yeah. So the big thing was I wanted to get out of there afterwards before anybody caught that I was like messing.
Okay.
And fucking Gabe Byrne at the end of the fucking show, he goes, this is the 40th anniversary, I don't know, some wank. Yeah. And you're not going home, you're all going on buses to the Shelburne. So I had to sit on a bus and stay in character.
It's so funny, Jason, because, well, the fact that you had to stay in character, but like, it just shows you how long ago that was, or the kind of innocence and, the delight of going in a bus to the fucking Shelburne. Yeah,
but I got there anyway.
Oh, yeah.
And now it's like 1 a.m. or something, and I'm trying to get out of there. So I had to ring me mum and dad, and my dad had to collect me. And he goes, yeah, fucking idiot. He goes, what? And he goes, I see, me and your mother are watching the Late Late, and who pops up? But fucking you. They didn't even know I'd gone there.
Did he think it was funny?
He did, yeah. He was laughing their heads off. So,
brilliant.
I've done loads of mad shit like that.
One of the best things, I've seen a few of your performances. One of the best things was, and my cousin, Ryan Tuberty, was interviewing you, and you brought out these blinds.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, Jesus Christ, he couldn't talk, but it was perfect. It was the funniest thing I'd ever seen.
But I'll tell you about like the Late Late Show. People don't know, and a lot of shows like Graham Norton. Is I always describe it as the Death Star, Star Wars. So in Star Wars, they had to hit the bombs. They had to drop their bombs right down that hole, and if they missed it, they had to go around again. That's what those shows are like. You only have 1 second or 2 or 3 seconds to get your bomb down the hole. Or you miss it and then you don't have a good interview.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You're saying that's exactly what I was saying earlier on. Like, people don't understand how fucking potentially fucking dangerous it is.
Oh, yeah, it is. So, I mean...
Do you know what I mean? Well, why are you saying it wasn't then?
What?
Fucking, huh?
This
No,
is where we start funny.
no. But I was saying how people don't understand how dangerous it is to get comedy wrong, and then you were saying, oh, I don't know what you were.
No, listen. What I said with the blinds, I got it very, very right.
Yes.
But you don't, and because it's live television as well, you don't have much time, and so it has to be almost like a perfect storm to get it right so quick. Do you know what I mean? And it's like doing stand-up. When you get on stage, they want you to be funny straight away. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you see the difference, if I can say to the patronizers and people on thing, there's laughs, and then there's kind of the laughs that Jason goes for and gets a lot of the time are like, it's like at a soccer match where there's screams and like,
Yeah,
and it's so intoxicating.
Well, that's the great thing with the stand-up is that we were trying to play rooms with like a few people in them, and they're hard because laughter is contagious and everybody gets together. And I'm playing these rooms, they're all big and everybody's loving it. And and I love just bringing people along that journey. And then they leave and they don't really know what the fuck happened.
And so and
they always do that.
know, but
they always go, what was that about? I don't know.
No, it's very amazing, and that idea of like you just said, where you take 170 people out and you hide them. You did a lot of that in Edinburgh, didn't you? Taking the audience to different places and.
Well, that was fucking brilliant crack. A woman just went. I'll never forget though. A woman did go to the loo, and I just went, here, let's hide, and that's an old Billy Connolly thing that he did somewhere. I don't know where he did it. And he was talking to 5,000 people.
Okay.
Went, oh my God, let's hide. Of course, they all laughed. But I went, let's hide. They all looked at me going, hello. And I went, no, let's hide. So I kicked open the exit door, which was right on the stage. And 169 of them all got into a laneway, and we closed the door over. And they all left their coats and bags on.
Right.
But the woman came back in and she looked around. And she thought she was in the wrong venue. And she walked back out again. But then she came back in and she had the most bizarre thing. She just sat down in her seat on her own.
Right.
And I kicked up the door and went, surprise! And she nearly fucking died.
But how did you know? Were you...
I could see her.
Right.
No, but I don't know if you've ever seen 169 people and me try to look through a crack. They were all like this in a big laneway, all going, and they're all trying to look down. The guy's going, she's back.
Yeah.
And then we went through and out, and then of course it took another 10 minutes to see.
Yeah, it's fucking amazing.
And you only have an hour for the show.
Yeah.
So I ended up doing no show. You know what I mean? The show, that was the show.
When did you start doing? When did you hit that point where you were the best selling in Edinburgh? Like, how many years had you been going?
Okay, so what happened was in 1996 I went over and did So I Think You're Funny. Came second to the Tommy Tiernan.
What's happening there?
No, I was just saying that.
Came second. Oh, not the Perrier.
No, this was So I Think You're Funny.
Was that before the Perrier?
Yeah.
Okay, because Tommy won the Perrier, and I saw him that year, and he was head and shoulders above everyone.
No, he was funny, and even though Ed Byrne's family had all cigars on the table, which was even funnier.
What does that mean?
They were ready to celebrate Ed's win.
Oh right. Oh, was he nominated as well?
Yeah.
Oh no.
But he was brilliant. So Ed had been there loads. Tommy was just this newbie that nobody knew, and I was sitting with Tommy then.
Okay.
We didn't give a fuck. We were just getting a free drink. We weren't even listening to
This was at the Perrier thing?
Yeah, we weren't even listening. And next minute he goes, ladies and gentlemen, I could see all the other acts just waiting to be called, and Tommy was just talking to somebody else. And they went Tommy Tiernan, and Tommy thought they were asking him something else. And he looked up, and then he looked at me, and I went, I think he won. Jesus. And he went, what the fuck? Why did I win? So
it's amazing.
And he went up. And he got it, but...
Well, I'd seen a lot of acts that year, and he was fucking amazing. And he's different to the way he is now. He wasn't as... I know he does the roaring and shouting, the quiet and shout. He was just very straight stand-up. It was incredible.
No, he's a beautiful stand-up. I love watching him.
Amazing.
He did do an amazing thing in the Vodafone Comedy Festival, and he came on stage. I thought, that's just brilliant. And he just had his hand in the air, and he wasn't saying anything. And he had the mic like that. And the whole place just went totally silent. And only Tommy would get away with this, and he went, women, will you shut the fuck up?
Yeah.
And the whole place
couldn't
stop laughing, women clapping him, everything. Just a simple little, but the command that he
I know, but it's perfect. It is.
And I'm still a comedy fan, I always was. I love going to see them all. And to say, like, the jealousy or whatever. You can't live like that, because you'll see, like, because Tommy started with me, you know, Dara O'Brien started when I was, Ed was in a different place, you know. And
well, maybe because you got successful fairly quickly. That I mean, certainly when I got a bit of success with the Savage Eye, my jealousy kind of quietened down. I sound like Daniel playing. I don't like people. There's a competition in me. I want other people to fail. But I think jealousy just points you in the direction that you want to go.
But maybe your jealousy is not jealousy. Maybe did you feel that you should be more successful?
Yeah,
is that what it was? And that can kill you.
Well,
because the Savage Eye. Let's say
it was like I wanted to be hanging out with you in '96, but you
didn't even meet you then.
Well, '97. By the way, you were one of the few people who was nice and talked to me. Even though I was a fucking asshole. No. But the point is that I wanted to hang out, you know, I wanted to hang out with people like you, but not having done any work.
But can I also say that would have been fine, but in those days we weren't hanging around with each other clicking. Yeah. So it was me and Tommy and Dara and all, we were on the piss.
Yeah, yeah.
And we were gigging, we were having the crack.
I know.
I remember.
But I wasn't in your league at all.
Oh, yeah. But
do you see what I'm trying to say?
But I'm also saying you didn't have to be in our league. It wasn't that situation. It wasn't like, who the fuck's your man? He's not even a fucking comic like us. It was none of that.
No, but you weren't like that. But I think other people naturally were, because there is a hierarchy. I mean, if some fucking guys just started comedy wants to hang around with well-established comedians, it's like, mate, just keep your fucking head down, do the work, and if you're good enough, it'll happen organically. But don't try and like I'd see you at the bar and I'd be going, you know.
Yeah, but I have this image in my head, right? That. Malcolm in the Middle did an episode where the mother thought she was a brilliant ballroom dancer. Right? Like she was like brilliant spinning and dipping. But all along, one of the sons was recording her on the videotape. Yeah. And that's the end of that show, where she's actually standing on people's toes and she's falling. Yeah. So I imagine that's what happened with you in the bar. You probably thought that people, which you were probably hammered. Yeah. And we were making up your own fucking story.
Oh, completely, Jason.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No,
definitely.
No.
So that image was just us and you going, how is we going, how are you doing, Dave? And then you walking off going, what the fuck, they fucking hate me.
Oh, no. But I was overly, I was completely alcoholic and drinking and being overly familiar and over friendly and thinking I'm on the level, at the same level as you guys. And just burning every fucking bridge possible.
But if you never did... if you only ever did a Savage Eye, that's enough. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, that's a fucking amazing show.
Yeah, it was good.
Do you know what I mean? But it's still good. It hasn't gone anywhere.
Yeah.
So, but then, I see, like, I'm sitting with, let's say, John Bishop, right? Who I know very well. Right. I sat in a fucking bar with John Bishop when nobody knew who the fuck he was. And he was doing a shitty little, well, it was a great show. It was only like 40 people. But I've been out there before, I've started before him. Do you know what I mean? But he's gone up and past me and up in arenas and and massive and wealthy and huge things.
But he's gone to this level where it's like it's transcends, isn't it? It's people go to support him. It's like a football team or something.
Well, John says, and like a lot of people say, he says, like, you know, half the people in this room don't even know, I've never even seen me do it. They go because it's a great occasion. And John's very likable. But if you as a performer, an actor, a musician, or anything, if you're looking at somebody else's career and trying to get there, you're going to destroy yourself.
Well, I mean, I would say, destroy. But I think if you, it just tells you the direction that you're wanting to go in, and if you're not taking the incremental steps required to head there, then either shut the fuck up or do the hard work.
You have to do the work. Yeah. You have to put the gigs in. Yeah. What is that phrase? Like, they say, like, you can't sit in front of a fire and expect the heat without the fuel. You know what I mean? People would say, I'll put the fuel in after, I want the heat now.
Yeah, right.
That's a bit like all the YouTubers now that don't want to do it. They just want to fucking come on and just go, 5 minutes, fucking... But at the same time, I can never do what you do, you can't do what I do, no. Dara can't do what I do, I can't do what Dara does. Yeah. Because comedy's very personal. You know, it's the, like, look at Tommy, like the fucking stuff that's oozing out of him when he's talking. If I went on stage with Tommy's set, didn't tell anybody, and tried to do it, it just wouldn't be able to do it as well. Yeah. Because it's coming from Tommy's soul. Do you know what I mean? And even Jimmy Carr, who's a one-liner, and people go, I can do that. It's still Jimmy doing it.
Yeah, he's very, I mean, I remember seeing Jimmy first, and that delivery style is perfect. So
can I say one quick thing, because I love this? So in Late and Live in Edinburgh, people may know about it. It's the old Late and Live, as we call it.
Which was burnt down.
And
by Karen Corn.
Yeah. And we'd... we went there, and you basically died in your arse. That's what they heckle the fuck out of you. But I seen Jimmy Carr do his first night there, and he came out in a white suit, and he had a clipboard, and they went mental at him, going, "You fucking bastard! Fuck you! You puffed her all this shit!"
Yeah.
And he's standing there, and he just stood there, and he said nothing. And this is his first one of his first gigs in Edinburgh, in 1997 or so, 98, and it's amazing. And they're shouting and shouting, and then they stop shouting, and then they say shut, and then they say nothing. And his first word out of his mouth was, "Okay, we all finished?"
Yeah, right.
And that
Amazing.
was that. Jimmy was massive.
I saw Daniel Kitson and Ross Noble in Leighton Live, and they were like magicians.
MCing together, were they?
They were MCing. They were like you know, what are those guys in Lord of the Rings? Gandalf. What you call
Wizards?
Those? Wizards. Comedy wizards.
Well,
Daniel Kitson. Jesus Christ.
We did one.
Nothing.
2 nights. It was Daniel Kitson, Ross Noble, me, and Adam Hill.
But you were on that level. I mean, you like came on. Like I remember as a fan, in all these comedians, and you just went just like a fucking rocket.
But that's
it was fucking amazing.
That was
so
the beauty of Edinburgh then,
Yeah.
though, because Edinburgh was very much fucking let's fucking just try shit out. I remember Simon Munnery, who you can all have a look up, who's a genius, was lying on his back on the stage in Leighton Live with a bucket on his head.
I know, I saw this.
Going, how self-indulgent
That's
is
right,
this?
I remember
How self-indulgent
that. I know.
is this?
That's right. I still remember that.
And people going, "You bastard!"
I know.
And him going, how self-indulgent
I know.
is this?
And then he put on a clown's nose and said, "I'm an Australian comedian," and he started doing all kinds of different things. He's a genius.
Do you know what? There's a footage. Like Karen.
It's funny. I remember all of that stuff.
Karen Corrin put up a best of Leighton Live deaths, if you know what I mean. And there's a bit where I don't know who's on stage.
Where would that be?
Oh, I think that's on YouTube. I think you can find that.
Okay, well, just hold that one because there's nothing more exciting than to see. It's like an arena in Rome where
Yeah, we're all dying.
Like in Leighton Live, though, but it was really something else.
Well, now and again, it would be might be the comic dying with silence, and then just two fellas just going at him.
But this one was like, you know, Christians to the lions and the Romans just screaming. But what were you just going to say before?
Well, I can't remember who was on stage, but a glass comes flying at him, right?
Oh, yeah.
And he ducks, and then it cuts to Russell Brand and Fiona Loughlin, who's Australian, brilliant.
Yeah.
The two of them are sitting on the steps talking, and the glass comes smashing over their heads. It actually went through the stage and hit the stairs.
And what other? Where else do you play regularly? Do you play in the States or Canada or?
No, I mean I did a bit in New York and all. It was great crack. But the thing was, it was like I had a little family, so I wasn't able to do New York. I wasn't able to do America because America's ruthless. It's like you can't have any family. You got to go over there on your own. And you've got to set yourself up that way. And you have to gig this shittest gigs of your life in the middle of nowhere forever. So it's very hard to do America unless you're famous already for something else.
Right.
But I pity because I loved gigging for Americans. They were fucking great. So I was in New York, I was gigging. I asked somebody with something, because they never talk to people in the audience. The Americans, when I was in Montreal, right? It's so intense, Montreal, right? The comics have got, they got a 20-minute bit. I got my 20-minute bit.
Yeah,
I got my 10-minute bit.
Very business.
10-minute bit.
Yeah.
You got to be. And we were doing a gala. Right?
Yeah.
And there was an American in the fucking dressing room, right? And he's sitting in the dressing room. He has his agent and he has a life coach with him. And his life coach is going, "You're going to do well. You're going to do the best." And now we're in this fucking room with him.
Yeah.
And we're like, what the fuck? And he's going, "You're going to be the best. It's going to be the best thing ever. You're going to do really well."
They're saying this in front of you?
Yeah.
Jesus
But
Christ.
sure, they're Americans. They don't give a fuck. So out he goes.
Dies in his hole.
Absolutely. He goes back in. And the life coach goes, "You didn't do it. You didn't do it. Don't worry. You didn't do it. Not this time."
Fucking hell.
But here's another kind of fame.
I hope you did well, by the way.
I did great.
Great.
I hope that you...
you did great. I
did great. I probably did shit. Maybe the life coach was telling me I did great.
No.
Joan Rivers was hosting the show.
Okay.
And Joan Rivers was out there. And and the reason why I did well is because this reason I was going, fucking gala. So, and they're all going, boobity, 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 boom. So I only had a piece that I had to do a boobity, boobity, boom. Wasn't able to do my usual magic because they wouldn't give me time. So, Joan Rivers is hosting and she goes out. I was having a little chat beforehand, whatever. She goes out onto the stage and she's doing her gags. She goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, Next up, the amazing Greg Araldo, right? And I come out, right? And pass her. And I stand there in front of all the audience going, there's like 2,500 or whatever. I go, I'm not Greg Araldo, right? And all I hear in the
Who's
wings...
dead, by the way.
Who's dead, by the way, yeah. Great. And he was a great comic. In comes Joan inside of my ear and onto the stage and just in my she goes, stop, right to me. And she goes, I'm so fucking sorry. Like, this is brilliant. She's holding me and she goes, I should be dead. I shouldn't be alive right now. I shouldn't be doing this. I'm a fucking mess. She goes, look at me. Most of me's plastic, including my fucking brain. So she goes, you go off and I'll give you the best intro ever.
Oh, that's fucking amazing.
So I went off and she did, ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Ireland, she did a huge thing, Jason Byrne. And of course I just stormed it.
Oh, fucking amazing.
But good old Joan Rivers.
Jason, I'm mindful of the fact that we want to do. It's. I really appreciate you doing coming over because you drove from
the Knoll.
The Knoll,
which is not called the Knoll. It's called Knoll, but nobody can say Knoll.
And you have it, but you're doing Edinburgh this year, and you've got like what eight gigs or 10 gigs or how many nights are you doing?
That's exactly all the noises that you need to be making about this Edinburgh coming up.
What?
Because it's not the festival.
Yeah.
It's 12 gigs booked in maybe, but if anything changes, they get cancelled because of the restrictions.
And are they running at full capacity? No, half capacity.
So more noise. Yeah. Karen Corrin is running the first 4, and they're fitting 400. No, 200.
Right.
No, 3. No, 2. Well, maybe 100.
Right.
That's what we've been told. Literally that. And then the other 8 are in the place called the Corn Exchange, which holds 400, and we might be able to.
Well, Jason Byrne, the biggest selling act in the biggest comedy festival in the world.
I spent it all now because you know.
But it's a genuine pleasure to meet you, and thank you very, 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 very much.
I know Dave a long time. I didn't.
Yeah, well, he's.
And thanks for listening, Dave, because you are getting better at it. Do you know what I mean? So what did you say? Do you know what I mean? I don't know what you said. Because Jim Owen, you can look at him as well. Actually, go.
He's a really nice bloke, Jim Owen.
And what people can do is go to Jim Owen right now. Go to jimowen.com and watch this bit of footage. Because Dave was talking about it earlier on. When you're in, a group of people and someone's telling a story, but you're not listening to their story because you're trying to get your story ready.
And go on. And what's his?
That's what he says. That's what he says in the stand-up.
Okay.
And he goes, and then as soon as you're telling your story, nobody's listening to your story because they're trying to get their story ready.
Well, I mean, but I've seen this in action, Jason, whereby, I've got something in my head and then, and I ask you, I interrupt you and then what I'm saying is less interesting than what you've been, and I've seen that. It's fucking embarrassing. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks, Jason.